Bella was a lecturer. She had a passion for teaching students. She was a jewel amongst many students in her university. She was kind, easily going, and had four eyes. She was literally Bella Four Eyes. And as they say, four eyes are always intelligent. Bella also had a sister, Brenda. She was a nonchalant, talkative, jovial, and naughty girl. The complete opposite of her elder sister. She was an accountant, a senior accountant at a very prestigious company that is said to be a subsidiary to the Vargas Group. Brenda had someone who she always adored. Who was her idol? It was Mario the rockstar. Mario was dashing and handsome. He had long hair, blue eyes, and was fascinating. He had his way round the guitar as with women. He was their heartthrob. Mario was signed into Vegas Music Group. His company. His father's company. Though his father was terribly ill in the United States, and his mother died, Mario took it upon himself to take care of his family members, including his sister Megan and his grandmother, who he idolizes the most. Sometimes being a rock star and a celebrity can be overwhelming. Sometimes. So Mario chooses to live a double personality as Marco. Wander the streets unnoticed. Visit the ocean, and sometimes see his father in the United States where he can do things without being caught on camera or the paparazzi. It was quite nauseating for him, so sometimes he will be on screen as Mario and off screen as Marco. Bella had a crush on James, who was her co-teacher. They worked in the same university, but James had a crush on Brenda and wanted to use Bella to get to Brenda. Over time, he noticed that Bella had a crush on him. It would help him with his ulterior motives when he would reciprocate Bella's feelings for him, with the aim of asking Brenda out. He planned to two-time them if possible. James began to make advances on Bella, who suspected that he only wanted sex. He was taking a risk because they were co-teachers and weren't allowed to date for the sake of the students seeing them. One day in the staff room, as James tried to make his advance on Bella, while no one was around, and they were alone, Marco bumped in. It is presumed that he's one of Bella's students, which was quite shocking to the least, considering he's supposed to be done with school, but apparently, it seems like they have different faces. James immediately stopped his forceful advances on Bella and excused himself after that day. James began to avoid Bella, who reciprocated his act. She was also watchful of Marco. She didn't want him to tell on her. She was inconspicuously checking up on him to keep him in check. She wanted to portray this idea that she was not vile but innocent. But time and time again, Marco acted like he didn't care. He would just gaze into her glasses and make no comments, which would in turn surprise Bella. It took less time than expected for James to return bugging Bella again. She would wonder why, but would make no comments. She forgave him, thinking she was at fault. He's good. Maybe I should just give him a chance. Maybe I should just open myself to him. Maybe I should love him more. I would be fulfilled. Those were her thoughts. So when he came to her and apologized, she agreed and forgave him, and he proposed dinner at her house. She told her mother and sister that her friend is coming home for dinner, and they should all prepare. So they did. They chatted and talked with James on the dining table, played games and had fun, and it was late. Bella proposed that since it was late, James should spend the night at theirs, and he agreed, though inwardly excited. They let him sleep under couch in the living room while Bella and Brenda returned to their rooms. At night, Brenda woke up and went out for a cup of water. Bella woke up and noticed Brenda's absence but didn't mind. She then continued sleeping and woke up and to notice Brenda still absent. She resolved to check up on her and left the room, only to go out and find James holding an uncomfortable Brenda. He was confessing his feelings to her. "But you are with my sister," she said, "and yet it is you I love. It is you I have feelings for and none other," he replied. Right then Bella was shattered, learning that James had used her to get close to her sister. With her eyes tearful, she rushed out through the back door, and Brenda noticed. She ran out of the house crying. Heartbroken, she wandered to the ocean and wandered to the ocean, crying, thinking of the heartbreak and despair. She jumped into the ocean with intent to drown herself. She suddenly saw a man from a distance running towards her. He had long hair, a well-chiseled body, and as well as blue eyes. Even in the dark, she could tell how perfect he was. Now drenched, he was looking so wonderful, so attractive. She hadn't beheld a sight before as he dived into the water. He brought her out, carrying her as she coughed profusely. He kindly dropped her down on the beach and weaved his hands through his hair. "Oh my God, It was Marco. Bella couldn't be more surprised. As she relaxed, she couldn't tell him thank you. She couldn't make a comment, so he broke the silence. I guess Mr. Goody Two-Shoes made you jump into the ocean today. It's not what you think, she replied. I guess you came here to steam off, and not because you were following me. She continued, oh, don't flatter yourself, Mrs. Aurora. I come here more often than you could think. I come to get myself most times, he replied. What you saw the other day and today, I am so. There's no need following me from time to time to keep me in check. What you do from the moment doesn't interest me. You're little less my teacher, he reassured. Oh, that is reassuring to hear. And I guess you won't be seeing any more of me and him any longer after this. She continued. I should hope so, he said. She was marveled by him that night. He didn't even ask what happened or even bothered to know. To him it was none of his business. Marco and Bella talked that night. Though she had developed a soft spot for him, it couldn't go any further than this. He was her student, and it would be unprofessional. The next morning Bella went home. Jack had excused himself before she came. He wouldn't want to be embarrassed from the day onward. He won't disturb Bella or Brenda again. She, on the other hand, was heavily apologetic. She assured Bella that she was completely unaware of James' feelings for her and was not interested in him whatsoever, and give him a scorning response last night as Bella trusted she would. Bella was not intent on blaming her and was ready to put the past and that night behind them. In the days that followed, Bella gave an eye to Mario in class, and she noticed he was present some of the times. She was fascinated by him and glad they were acquaintances. They seldomly talked, but greeted and admired each other from a distance. Most of the admiration was coming from the side of Bella, as Marco least paid attention to her. Even though one could see Bella was a simple and modest lady of means, it could be plain to connote that she had a knack for people she couldn't and shouldn't be with. Brenda, on the other hand, formed a bond with her manager, who was working hand in hand with Mario the rockstar. As his manager, they were best friends. Brenda had a huge crush on Mario, the rock star, and it could be said that since her boss was his manager, she could use him to get to Mario. Since they were friends, Brenda began to get clingy with Ramsey, her boss, though in a formal way. She wanted him to notice her hard work and benevolence in the company, so he could become fond of her, assigning her to different tasks and responsibilities. She putting a lot of effort, and with time, she succeeded. He started to notice her extra work hours and workload, and sometimes offered to drop her home. Due to the compassion for her work, he began to have a soft spot for her, and sometimes lended her a helping hand. This was when everyone had gone home, dumping tasks on her head. She was, in fact, diligent, and was all ready to take them head on. She even took some tasks from Ramsey and finished them diligently. With this, she was able to show her boss that she was ready and diligent to take tasks head on. He began to give her tasks and she nearly became his personal assistant in all but name. All the other female staffs who were drooling over him and the other ones, eager to get a recommendation from him, soon noticed this and began to be jealous of her, backlashing her with more tasks, so she doesn't have the time for Ramsey. This brought the both together, as they began to spend time together, and she in due time got the dream request she always wanted. Mario the rockstar was on tour and needed all the help he could get. As his manager, it was his responsibility to get him the workforce and staff he needed, so he began to recruit, and Brenda, to her surprise, was one of them. She was elated and in joy, as not only would she get her beloved celebrity but also work for him. There they could meet face to face. And that was what happened. In his cabin during his tour, Brenda helped Mario after his makeup was besmirched. Ramsey then complimented Brenda before Mario, leaving him pleased. In no time she was promoted to his major makeup and prep manager during his tour. Brenda couldn't believe it. She has gotten what she always wanted. Now she could leave Ramsey and make attempts to hit on Mario. She would be close to him now than ever, and she was extremely glad and excited about it. It was beyond words. Now she didn't need Ramsey now, and he noticed it. How Brenda was always clinging to Mario and attempting to make a move on him. And sometimes Mario will flirt with Brenda, making Ramsey very jealous. He couldn't believe he was now having feelings for Brenda, the girl who just scorned him and had gone after bigger fish. He actually thought that they were bonding. but he decided to conceal his feelings. Brenda now had a heavy crush on Mario the rockstar and was obvious about it. She always blushed when she was around him, and her co-workers couldn't believe their eyes. How she flown so high to the point of managing Mario, the rockstar's prep. But the more time she spent with Mario, the more she realized he just had a way with women and had no intention of beginning anything serious with her. Maybe the reason why she thought like this was because her heart was ready to take on the thoughts, because it held for Mario the rockstar only admiration as her icon. Unintentionally, Brenda's heart was going on for Ramsey. She was endlessly thinking about him and the time they used to spend together. She had gotten so used to him that she now missed him. But she had gotten what she wanted from him. She had dumped him. She no longer needs him. Why was her heart still beating for him? Oh my God. Oh my word. Perhaps she has feelings for him. But how can she should love Mario? He is the rock star that she's been admiring for a long time. How can she leave him? Her heart wasn't ready to accept that, but it was too reluctant to. Now Brenda began looking for Ramsey, who had been absent for a while. He had gone to get his own space, his life himself, figure out what he wants, what he should want, and forget about Brenda. But fate had different plans for the both of them, to be caught up in a strange twist of fate. While Mario still tried to make advances on her to satisfy her motions, she searched for Ramsey, who didn't want to be found. He asked her why she was looking for him. You've been absent for days, for weeks. Surely Mario would have missed you, she replied. Mario. Only Mario. Stop playing games, Brenda. Why did you come looking for me? Don't say that. I've been looking for you. I care about you. Want to see you often all. I wish to speak with you. I do not wish to speak with you, Brenda. You only care about me. He scoffs. Please let me in. You have feelings for Mario. He asked you out. Has he not? You needn't know. What do you mean? I care about you. There you go. Caring about me again. I do not need your care, Brenda. Just go. He pushed. And what if I had more feelings than care for you? She asked, and he kept silent. What do you mean? He asked. I might have scorned Mario for you, I believe. My heart is conflicted with my mind. My mind says I should go to Mario, but my heart calls your name. I cannot breathe when you're near, but I could see the idea, an ideal so preposterous that I could laugh. I mean, you're my boss, and I'm your employee, so it couldn't work. And even though it did, I couldn't see reason to why you being so reserved would have feelings for me. I'm sorry for breaching it. I'm breaking boundaries. It was my mistake, and I'll work on myself and leave the company. This was all my mess and I'll handle it. I'm so sorry for making things messy, and I'll leave you alone. So, she spoke, but he broke in. What if I did? What if I do have feelings for you? He had asked, and she kept mute in shock. What? She asked. This past few days I've been thinking of the times we spent together, and when we held hands, jiggling and laughing together. I've been thinking about you also. But you were so occupied with your desires to be with Mario. I just realized I was jealous. It occurred to me then that I had huge feelings for you more than pity or friendship. It was a yearning to be with you, Bree. A heart-aching longing. Do you hear me? My heart aches loudly for you, Bree. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, confounding feelings. I really try to get rid of them, especially this past few days, but it seemed impossible. Feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you. Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm asleep and, in fact, preferring sleep because that is where I might find you. A feeling that is like torture, but one which I cannot, will not and do not want to give up. When he stopped, Brenda breathed loudly, sighing heavily. Feelings like kissing you, caressing you gently, she continued. Yes. Do not say things that you do not mean. And what if I mean them? It is everything I have wanted to say to you for weeks, but I couldn't because of your shenanigans. But Ramsey, we are workers. You're my boss and I'm your employee. Yes, but forgive me. I do not know what I was thinking. He gave a loud sigh. But I would very like to be more than just workers. So much more, she said, as they rushed to each other, coupling each other in their embrace. As though they had been apart for centuries, they gave each other heavy kisses. As Brenda jumped on Ramsey, her legs across his thighs, and her arms round his neck, his hands groped around her, supporting her thighs with his hands. He kissed her neck, leading her with sparks of ecstasy, and she let out light moans, his breath strolling down her cheeks, down to her neck, sending her down in spirals. She lit his face with kisses once again. Their lips met each other in deep and luscious kisses, igniting spiraling fantasy. Their lips caressed each other effortlessly, as they momentarily let out moans of pleasure. As it was exciting, breathing down her neck, he whispered, sending shivers down her spine, saying, I love you, Bree. So much. And she let out a soft moan before replying, I love you more, Ramsey. Then he chuckled. That's not possible, he said, and she let out a light laugh. Brenda wanted to tell Mario and settle it with him that he would now be dating Ramsey. That was the least she could do, as their best friends, but he forbade it. So instead she would tell her sister and family in due time. Brenda and Ramsey began to spend loads of time together, but Ramsey was mostly down, especially. She noticed he was hiding from Mario, to reason she didn't know why. Marco, on the other hand, started attending Bella's classes once again. Now James wasn't bothering her anymore. One day, his grandmother came to pick him from school, and as she came out she fell and splinted her leg. Bella immediately rushed to pick her up and began massaging her in a way that no one had done before, to stop the pains. Marco's grandmother immediately began to fall in love with Bella and sought to employ her as her personal natural physiotherapist. She didn't want to let go of her. She gave her her address and insisted she came. With delighted Bella later came to the penthouse and saw Marco. She was delighted to help treat his grandmother's leg, and she was comfortable with it. Marco's grandmother began to immensely love Bella, and she was also falling in love with Marco's grandmother. Later at home, Bella told Brenda how she met Marco, a student, and began to bond with him after James' breakup, and also how she met his grandmother and began treating her, and she loved her. Brenda also told her how she bonded with her boss and met Mario the rockstar and how she loved him, but fell in love with her boss Ramsey. She also told Bella that Ramsey would be coming in for dinner, and she wanted to introduce him to them as official boyfriend. They were all happy and prepared as Ramsey came in for dinner. As Ramsey and Bella saw each other, they were shocked. Brenda, is this your boyfriend? Bella asked. Of course, Stella. I hope there is no problem. I told you about him. My boss and Mario the rockstar are friends. This man is to be married. I saw him in the penthouse I went to with grandmother. He is to be married. He is engaged with Marco's sister. Brenda was stunned. She turned to Ramsey, not knowing what to say. That's impossible, Bella. He is my boyfriend and we love each other. But he is engaged, Brenda. I saw him with my own two eyes. This left Brenda shocked. She stormed out of the house. Ramsey rushed after her. Brenda, he called. What is it? Why didn't you tell me you are to be married? He is my friend, Brenda. I don't love her. I love you. I got engaged out of compulsion. Please listen to me. That is not of my business. Go back to her, she demanded. I wish you a happy married life, Brenda said, and stormed out of there. Marco's sister, Megan, began to notice an uneasiness with Ramsey. She is obsessed with him, and Mario had spoiled her to get whatever she wants, no matter what it was. A year ago, when Megan told Mario she was in love with Ramsey, Mario made Ramsey indebted to him and imposed marriage on him. He is also the person who always gets what he wants and no one says no to. Even though Ramsey never loved Megan but considered her as a friend, he had to agree to his best friend's demands, until he met Brenda and fell in love with her. And he is no more interested in Megan. Not that he ever was. Megan started noticing him suspicious, began to follow him, and found out he was cheating on her with another woman. She saw him going to Brenda's house to ask for forgiveness, but Brenda didn't answer him, so Bella came off to warn Ramsey, leading Megan to a misunderstanding. Bella continued coming to Marco's house to treat his grandma. Megan told him that Ramsey is cheating on her with Bella and he should hasten the marriage. So Mario planned and announced Megan and Ramsey's marriage to Bella, and Ramsey shocked. Ramsey begged Bella to help beg Brenda for forgiveness, so she can save him from this mess. And Megan saw them together and warned Bella against coming near her husband-to-be, which she made no comments. Just then, Mario's grandmother, who has always wanted Mario to get married, announced that she has found a suitor for marriage. She made the marriage proposal to Bella's mother, as both Marco and Bella refuted. Brenda made no effort to forgive Ramsey, no matter how many times he came to the house door to beg. Megan noticed this and became restless, hastening the wedding. On the day of the wedding, different preparations were made, and it was the time. The bride was out and everyone was waiting for the groom, who was nowhere to be found. In anger, Mario left the wedding. The wedding was called off. The bride was humiliated in the presence of many affiliated guests and celebrities, high-profile, class members of the society, even the media and the press. It could be the news headlines. The sister of Mario, the rock star, was abandoned on the wedding days. Mario went to Bella's house, where he saw Ramsey at the front lawn, crying for Brenda to come out and embrace his love. He was humiliated and embarrassed. Mario immediately rushed to Ramsey and began throwing him blows, unnerving his rage. He was disgusted. Bella rushed to stop him, but Brenda made no effort to come out. When she did, Mario smiled. Brenda called him Mario, which shocked Bella. She knew him as Marco. He saw Bella and Brenda's shock, and he turned to the two sisters and laughed. "Yes, I am Mario and Marco. It's a pleasure to meet the two Aurora sisters. And they are both sluts. So James wasn't enough for you, as was I. You had to make a move on my best friend and brother. You all caused this. You have made him to stray away from his love. I will ruin you all. Watch me." Mario blamed Bella, who was still shocked about what happened. Mario dragged Ramsey and left there. Mario disowned Ramsey and told him he doesn't want to see him again. Ramsey begged for forgiveness, and Mario would forgive him on the condition that he proposes and marries his sister in the presence of everyone and the media. Ramsey proposed marriage to Megan, promising not to cheat on her ever again. And Megan agreed, as Mario forgive him too. Mario, however, didn't relent. Bella lost her job in the university on the account of a sex scandal with James, and Brenda was fired. Finally, the show shop their mother ran caught fire, and she was rushed to the hospital. Ramsey came to see how Brenda was faring due to Mario's move, but the latter rejected him with scorn as Bella pushed Ramsey away. Megan saw this and once again ran to Mario, crying, "This will not do. For you to keep that girl away. You have to bring her under your nose. You will have to marry her." Mario reluctantly ejected. But after persisting, Megan cried, and adamant, Mario agreed. "Just for your sake, I will marry that woman." Megan had the misunderstanding that Ramsey is in love with Bella, and so, Mario has to marry Bella. Just then, Mario's grandmother, after taking marriage acceptance, took the proposal to the hospital where their mother was admitted. Bella couldn't believe that once again a preposterous marriage proposal from the Vargas is on the table. Brenda couldn't believe Bella's next step. She accepted the proposal and told them to make preparations with haste. Mario and Bella couldn't believe their decisions. Now Mario would keep Bella under her nose and deal with her for hurting his sister, whereas Brenda asks Bella why she accepted the proposal. This has gone far beyond revenge. And to think, in this situation they still render a marriage proposal. "I do not fret. He has ruined me, and taken away everything I love and hold dear. And to add insult to injury, he has hurt my mother, who is now in the hospital. He struck the first blow. He won the battle, but not the war. This has gone far beyond. I am coming for everything he loves and holds dear. He idolizes his grandmother. Right. I am coming for her too. This is a war, and I must make sure I win." The wedding preparations were made, and Mario and Bella got married. This was more than a marriage of convenience. They would be fighting tooth and nail for survival.